Overpromised with Covino Rich.
Is it that time again? Thursday already?
Thursday, episode 84, Overpromised. Covino and Rich from Fox Sports Radio. We're on 2 to 4 on the west, 5 to 7 on the east.
Did I just catch you slapping the bass?
Yeah, you got to play it up here, though.
Slapping the bass. Slapping the bass.
Check me out.
Bring that up because on this day,
Yeah.
I Love You, Man came out 16 years ago.
You love me, man?
Love You, Man.
Thanks, bro.
Jason,
I kind of like you.
Siegel, Paul Rudd. Remember Lou Ferrigno was in that movie too?
I do. Throwing it back on a Thursday, we're going to reminisce today. We're going to take you back to 1990, and we're going to break the wax.
Break the wax?
Break
That's what
open
they
the
call it?
wax. Unpacking. We're unpacking some baseball cards today. Plus, new foods at the stadium. Baseball officially a week away, even though the Dodgers and Cubs already started. Again, I'm Covino. That is Rich. It's Overpromised. Let's go.
And, you know, I love to hammer home a fun fact.
Yeah.
How many times this week have you heard me say, you have a 1 in 9.2 quadrillion gazillion quintillion chance of having a perfect bracket in March Madness?
Unless, of course, you're Kurt Hennig.
Mr. Perfect.
He's the only guy to have ever done it. Yeah, we're ready to bring the madness. Are you ready?
So 1 in 9.2 quintillion chance. Everyone's filling out their brackets. And what does everyone say after day one? Oh, my busted bracket. I'm already out of it. And if your final four is still intact, relax.
You know what I always say? Dipsy do Dunkaroo, baby.
Did you invent that?
I did, yeah.
I thought so.
I came up with that.
I bring this up because as much as we're sports fans, we work for Fox Sports Radio, for goodness sake. I think talking about your bracket is easily on the top 5 list of shit no one cares about.
No one cares. Yeah, people care about their bracket. They don't care about your bracket. That's the key here. So, yeah, it's like when Charlie Brown's teacher's talking, you're listening, but you don't care. And, of course, that's happening all throughout the week, all throughout this month.
Well, I had a couple 12 seeds upsetting 5 seeds, and, oh, dude, my 4 seed, who gives a shit? No one gives a shit. Everybody now. No one gives a shit.
No one gives a shit.
It's a top 5. So I've thought of other things that no one cares about, and I want to run them by you guys, okay?
Let's do it.
Yeah, cool. Number 1 definitely is your bracket. No one cares who's in your Final Four. No one cares who you have in the Sweet 16. No one cares that you picked a 14 seed to win, and they did, and you're a genius. You think you're Lenny Poffo.
Like I've always said, and I really have always said this, if I want to hear about brackets, I'll go to Home Depot. I do not want to hear about your bracket. But I get it. It's part of what we do.
No, one shining
we all
moment.
have one filled out.
I love it. It's fun to watch college hoops, but it really is one of the lowest forms of, like, I don't give a shit conversation. Like, oh, well, in the Elite Eight, I have Florida going, but then I have St. John's and Duke. Like, again, no one gives a shit. I said no one gives a shit.
Let me tell you now, no one gives a shit. I said no one gives a shit. By the way, you remember what Tony Soprano said on a Throwback Thursday?
Yeah.
What's the lowest form of conversation?
Remember when.
Remember when is the lowest form of conversation.
I like some old school reminiscing.
I like nostalgia.
But I think when you crutch and only talk about remember when, like if you have a friend and every time you hang out with that friend, all you talk about is, hey, remember back in 05 when talk about now a little bit.
I prefer remember when. It's like weather conversations and bracket conversations.
Well, bracket number 1 on the list. Other things, and again, these are just reminders. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm not trying to be harsh.
Yeah,
but
just awareness.
These are reminders because I recently also read an article about things not to talk about on a date. And a lot of times people talk about themselves too much. They don't ask questions. And they talk about things that no one really wants to hear about.
How about their exes? Like, no one wants to hear about your ex on a first date.
No one wants to hear about that. Here's something else I wrote down. I'll stick to sports for a second. It's not the season for football. But when people come in and tell me about how their fantasy team lost by this or that, I'm guilty of talking about, oh, I missed a parlay by 1 leg. That's bad. But you know what's worse than that? When someone tells you about their fantasy draft and you'll never guess who slipped to round 5 and I picked them up on the waiver wire. No one gives a shit.
No one gives a shit.
Everybody now.
You know what I've always said? My fantasies involve women. I don't know about you.
Now, yours doesn't involve Jahmyr Gibbs.
And if I wanted to hear about fantasy, I would check out I Want Your Flex podcast with our very own Dan Byer as a little promo. He's the best.
Your bracket, your fantasy team. Let me move off of sports for a second. These are things that I think we all need to remind ourselves that while we all think we're important and we all think people want to hear, these are things that most people, they're kind and they yes you.
What's worse, though? Fantasy teams and who you got in the draft or your bracket? What is worse? They're both really boring.
Fantasy, because it lasts all year.
Yeah, you're right.
March, 1 month.
Yeah.
All right, how about this one? When someone's telling a story about a party night and they start trying to count how many drinks they had, no one cares about the list of cocktails you had on your night out. So I had like 5 beers. Wait, I think I had 6. And then we did a shot and then...
And Sam Adams showed up.
Oh, wait, hold on. Yo, Mikey, did we do 4 shots or 3? No one cares. So just add this to the list. These are reminders when you're telling stories. Brackets, fantasy teams, how much you drank.
You're weird. You're right. It's such a weird brag. You know, it's
Yo,
like,
dude, we had
did you butt chug?
I think I had 13 beers. All right, how about this one?
You had a shot of Jaeger bombs, huh? Way to go.
You know, I'll mock our buddy Spot for posting a gym selfie. I'm not really bothered by that. But you know what I am bothered by? When someone thinks you would be interested in what they did that day, like, well, today was leg day and I did this or that. When someone in detail tries to give you their gym routine, unless you ask them, like, hey, man, you're pretty ripped. What do you do? It's usually like, yeah, I'm not really caring about your CrossFit or your Orange Theory.
I moonwalk out of those conversations, man. I don't care at all what you did.
Compound movements. Today was deadlifts. And
you give him a polite pat on it. That's great, man. Later.
Oh, I'll give you one. Speaking of this, Spot, I'm trying to be kind today because I love you. You're my buddy, our video guy, Spot.
No, you don't.
But when Spot starts saying like, well, the macros, I'm like, oh, you lost me. I love you, man.
Love you, man.
Slap it a base.
Slap it to base.
Yeah, when you start talking macros, yeah, that's boring. You're right.
Well, I made myself a grilled chicken last night. The macros and I had the rice.
Enjoy your Taco Bell and Wendy's then.
Start talking about your glutes. I'm already checked out of the conversation.
Just fine, bro. Look at me.
Have you seen my glutes?
No, yeah, I don't want to though.
No, thanks.
Okay, so these are conversations that no one wants to hear about, much like your bracket.
Yeah.
As the madness begins.
Again, I'm just trying to remind you to be kind.
Yeah.
How about this? The local spot in their hometown you'll never go to. Let's say you're going to St. Louis, right?
Yeah.
You got to check out Hank's Burgers.
Yeah, Hank's Burgers. Hold on, let me write it down.
Hank's Burgers?
And we always play that game with Hank's Burgers.
Oh, yeah, then you know you do.
You know what? I'm going to write it down on my phone. Hank's Burgers.
You take out your phone.
at
You
this.
go to notes.
Look at that. That place. This place definitely has good burgers.
Yeah, it does look good. But
Oh, it's
honestly,
a real place?
Yeah.
I told Spot, I go, can you Google image if there is a Hank's Burgers? Because
Hank's Burgers.
this happens all the time, and it's done out of kindness. So again, just not trying to be rude, but Covino, hey, we're going on a business trip to Seattle. Oh, you know what you guys got to check out? And then you have to break out your phone and be like, oh, yeah, write that down. I'll try to check it out.
Yeah, you're right. People are going to do what they want to do anyway.
Things people don't really care about. I'm just trying to save you the trouble. How about this one? And I'm guilty of this, and I try not to be. I'm really trying to be good about it.
Your tease bets?
Oh, we add that to the list.
Yeah, I'm sick of hearing about your tease
Yeah.
bets.
You know what? Come on, dude. We're partners with DraftKings, so I do give them for work sometimes.
I like them for that reason, but when you continue to talk about it, I was like, I heard about it 50 times already.
You know what, bro?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I try to do a good job of this. Our buddy Ro, you call him the Peruvian Prince, our Peruvian buddy Ro.
Yeah.
Has a rule. Do you remember the rule about how many pictures of your kids you could show someone?
I do. It's the rule of row. It's after 3. You get a 3-picture limit.
Yeah. So if you're catching up with an old friend, you could be like, oh, here's a picture of my kids. Here's a picture of the new car I got. And here's a picture of me and my wife on vacation.
Yeah, after 3 pictures, no one cares. You
Yeah.
get a 3-picture limit. I do live by that rule. Thanks
great.
to Roe,
It's a great
you
rule.
can follow that one. Yeah, you want to see the
But
pictures.
just one more. No, just one. You got to
have them on standby. Put them in your favorites. Here's the favorite picture of my nose-picking kid. Here's the favorite picture of my last vacation. Here's my favorite picture of my brand new car.
Oh,
the end.
and can I tell you? Here's a good tip from me to you.
No thanks.
Keep them in a favorite folder on your phone.
Yeah, I just said that, parrot boy.
No, because
He did just say that.
I just said that.
here's what you do.
Man, I wonder where you get this great idea from.
You did say favorites. I think he means a separate album
know.
entirely.
No, because you know what happens? I have people over my house, and I'm not saying I live in a fucking luxurious place, but it's very clear we renovated our home.
Yeah.
So many people are like, oh, you renovated the place? And you know how many times I'm scrambling, like, let me find what the house used to look like. Like, you would think I'd have one folder, like,
Have 'em.
like one before and after
you can
photo.
never find the photo
Yes.
when you're looking for
Yeah.
it, even though you see it all the time. Can I add one more to your list? Even
Yeah,
though I
please
think,
do.
look, kids, we want to hear about your kids. Kids are great. We all have kids, but you don't want to overshare because people get bored.
Rule of 3. Rule of 3.
It's the rule of 3.
What's your bonus one?
Oh, what is my bonus one? I just, I'll get back to it. I forgot about it.
Had a brain fart?
Because I
What's with you
hate
two
hearing
today?
these conversations so much that I tuned it out already.
God, you
It's
forgot
something
it.
that you talk about. Oh, I want to hear about Paradise because it's a really good show. What I don't want to hear about is the crappy shows you're watching. If they're crappy shows, unless you're like warning me for a particular reason, why do I got to hear about the shit you're watching?
I know
all
what
the
you're saying.
time?
It's the equivalent of saying, like, smell this. It smells bad, right?
This tastes like ass. Try some. Like, no thanks. Like, I hate hearing about the shitty stuff that you're watching. You're subjecting me to your shitty TV schedule all the time. No thanks.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. All right. Now, I wanted to bring these to you guys because I thought it would be fun for Overpromised, since not only is this a podcast people listen to, I always encourage people, watch the video part of it. That's why we do this, because you get the video layer, and Spot does a great job with the videos, and Covino and I are constantly sending him pictures for Overpromised.
Yeah.
Now, last Friday, we call it Glorious Fridays, where it's the one day of the week that before Fox Sports Radio, Covino and I have off in the morning. We're not doing our bonus podcast or anything, or our Patreon. So my wife and I went out for breakfast, had a little bacon, egg, and cheese, had a coffee, and across the street out here in California in Woodland Hills is a place called The Village. Now, a little shopping area. Beautiful, right? You've been there. And they had a used bookstore. And my wife loves to read. Last book I read was Who Moved My Cheese. I'm not a big reader, but my wife...
Have you ever checked Where the Wild Things Are? It's a great one.
You know what?
Classic.
When I was at this bookstore, I'm going to say a name that you're going to I'm going to unlock a memory you haven't heard in 30 years. I saw some little kid with his parents, and he's like, Mom, look, Encyclopedia Brown.
Oh, yeah.
When was the last time you heard that?
I had that bad boy.
So,
Or it's talking about the Caldecott medal.
or the Boxcar Children. Well, anyway, we're at this used bookstore. My wife's looking around at
sir, where's the manga section?
manga, you bunch of nerds. So my wife's looking at all the books, and I'm looking around like, I don't know what to look at. And they have a little antique section where they're selling like old action figures, starting lineups. They had some sports stuff. And in a big box, they had 1990
Ooh.
Donruss.
All right, so let's take it back. Throw it back on a Thursday. This is when you were rocking your pager.
1990, I was 10 years old.
Doc Martin era.
Yeah.
It's like we were graduating from bandana, Guns N' Roses era into the grunge era. So flannel, ripped jeans, that sort of look was beginning to emerge, beginning to happen.
So
1990.
We're right, as the saying used to go, dude, we're in the 90s now. It's the 90s.
It's the 90s.
It's the 90s. So I saw in a pile remember these 3-packs
Yes.
of Donruss? And
So
they're,
yeah, this wouldn't be breaking some wax. This would be like just
well,
Ripping some seals.
ripping the value pack,
so I saw
unpacking.
$5 in like a bargain bin. And I know that 1990s baseball cards were overproduced and not worth much. But I said, for $5 each, I said, let me buy one for you and one for Spot, and
Hey,
we'll open
you
them.
might get a gem.
We'll open them on the air. There are a couple that are worth something. So Spot, before we open them, what are the top ones? I know there's a Juan Gonzalez. There's a couple like remember those Future Star ones that looked like there's a Donruss Juan Gonzalez rookie card.
It was the Juan
500.
Gonzalez rookie card that was the big one, and they had the Diamond Kings collection.
Yeah, the Diamond Kings that look like the weird paintings.
So yeah, the
Like
rated
a-
rookies was always a thing, but the Diamond Kings
Yeah,
collection,
Like the Ken Griffey,
the Bo Jackson one was
Bo
big.
Jackson one.
And those are like $50 to $100 each. So
There was a Nolan Ryan 5,000 strikeout one that had
There
some
it
value
is.
to it.
120. That's worth 125.
So there you go.
So there's a couple cards that are worth like $100. So
Yeah.
I said, you know what? For $5, what the hell?
But it's just fun to
What
see
the hell?
some
Yeah.
names out there, some old 1990s names. Throw it back on a Thursday.
So you want to go first? What you got? Let's zip through them. What you got, bro?
Mark Lemke. I got an Ozzie Smith.
Well, Ozzie Smith. Okay.
Yeah. Ooh, I got a Diamond King.
Which one?
Jim DeShays.
He's not much of a diamond king. Is that a misprint?
Dave Johnson. Mark McGuire.
Oh, you got a McGuire?
In 1990.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
McGuire.
See.
Any other?
Candy Maldonado, Benito Santiago.
Oh, Benito
Yeah.
was throwing people out from his knees. That was his.
Well, he had that famous card where he's looking up at the sky.
Yeah.
Right? Was that a Tops?
that was also
a
his starting.
famous
That was
one.
also his starting lineup pose.
All right, Greg Swindell, Kevin Bass,
Oh, Kevin
famous
Bass.
Astro.
Kevin Bass
Let's see,
had
got
some
a
big
Mike
hits.
Witt. Ooh, Tommy Hurd, Diamond King. Ryan Sandberg, Rhino. Let's see, any
So
valuable
no
ones?
gems so far.
Mike Blowers.
Let me see what I got here.
Ooh, I got one of the valuable ones. The Bo Jackson.
No way.
Yeah.
You got the bow?
The Bo Jackson 1991 is up there as
You know what? Put that
One of
over
the
there.
more valuable
Is
ones.
it the All-Star one?
no, it's just a regular Bo Jackson.
Regular.
I think the All-Star is the one that's...
Let's see.
Remember,
but any Bo
remember,
Jackson's
remember
cool.
Dick Schofield?
Yeah, of course.
Dick Schofield I got. Jeff Russell.
Oh, wait.
Pitcher Tim Berg. Oh, yeah. I
yeah.
mean, oh, yeah, you got the bow.
There it is. I
The
got
Bo
that one.
Jackson one
What is that worth?
is worth $125.
Look at you.
Now, here's the question. Do we give it to our very own Danny G?
Give it to Danny G. He loves baseball. He
Yo,
goes to the baseball
I'm very
card shop.
touched by this.
Yeah.
Ooh, I got an Eric Davis, one of the most underrated players of that era. Superstar.
Talk about a
Injuries
guy.
brought him
Talk
down.
about a guy that was ripped that didn't get enough credit for being a big dude. Remember Dave Parker?
Of course. Yeah.
Dave Parker. I got a Danny Tartable, who, by the way, had a great cameo on Seinfeld. Right spot, Danny Tartable.
Yeah.
You did.
He had a gun.
I got a Mike Scioscia. You want this one, bro? I got a Dave Righetti.
I like Rags. Look, I got a Goose Gossage. We got two Yankee relievers. Goose Gossage and Righetti. Hand it over. I'll take Righetti.
Wait, look at this. I got a Diamond King, but Ellis Burke.
He was
Ellis
he
Burke.
was highly touted.
If you listen to Covino and Rich for
Mike
years,
Greenwell, Ellis Burke.
If you listen to our
Do you know
show,
Mike Greenwell was Don Mattingly's cousin?
they look like you.
Look it up. I never knew that.
If you have been listening to Covino and Rich for
think.
years, this is fun. You know the story of this guy, Rick Cerrone,
Oh, yeah. That's a
where
famous
Covino
story.
met Rick Cerrone and got a weird autograph. There you go, Rick Cerrone. for you.
Oh,
There you go.
yeah. Rick
Spot, you want to open
Cerrone.
yours? You got anything there or what?
Yeah, let's see what I got.
Dude,
We'll make,
break
it,
some
we'll, make,
wax.
we'll make it snappy, but
That's
it's fun.
fun.
It's fun to go through
So let's
these.
see. So I got an oral Hershiser.
Ooh, nothing wrong with some oral.
Or a little oral. I love a little oral.
What about his brother, Anal Hershiser?
Let's
Anal
see.
Hershiser.
You don't know Anal Hershiser?
You want my Roberto Kelly?
Oh, I like Bobby Kelly.
Yeah.
Give him over, man.
you
Roberto
go.
Oh,
Kelly.
you know our boss Scott will want this one. I got a Gary Gaetti.
I have. Oh, I have a Diamond Kings Ruben Sierra.
Look at that, Rubes.
Let's
I got a
see.
Glavin.
Not much.
I got a Jack Clark who looks older than I ever thought he ever. Jack Clark looked like an old
See
guy.
what's in
Yeah.
this stack.
Oh, I got a Met, Bobby Ojeda, Sandy Alomar Jr. Oh, I got an Oral
Oh, I
MVP card.
got a Frank Viola. You want that one, Rich?
They have a
Does
sweet
his,
mustache.
does his
He
afro
does.
fit in the photo?
It does. He's wearing a hat.
Nice.
Oh, I got a George Brett. Is this before or after he shit his pants in
Oh,
Vegas?
wait, George Brett.
Days before, yeah.
Okay.
You got George Brett too?
I know. I think is George Brett on the list. I think I
Wow.
saw George Brett on the list.
Yeah, but you know what? So far, I got a $100 card over here.
Yeah.
Bo Jackson. We got some good ones.
The George
And it takes you
Brett.
back, man, because these were big names back then.
Rich, that George Brett
Yeah.
is going to pull you in a whopping $45.
Damn, not
look at that.
$45.
You made your money. So
know,
you
look at
spent
that.
$15 on these cards?
Yeah.
Let's see. I got a Harold Baines.
Ooh,
Anybody?
Hall of
I
Famer
got a Billy,
Harold
I got a
Baines.
Billy Ripken, but there's nothing on the bat.
I got a Kirk Gibson.
I got a Dave Stewart Diamond King.
That's a good one.
Wally Backman as a Minnesota Twin.
I got a Paul O'Neill.
as a red.
That's a red.
Yeah, look at that. Oh, I got a Barry Bonds. Is that worth anything, Spot? Barry Bonds
Barry
as a pirate?
Bonds is, yeah. I
as
think
a
so.
pirate?
Barry Bonds.
It's funny,
Let me
Spot,
find
because I
it.
think the Reds got rid of O'Neill for Roberto Kelly. They were traded for each other. So you got both of them,
There you go.
if I'm not mistaken.
I got the Barry Bonds where it looks like he has, like he's chewing food or something.
Wow. Dude, it takes you back. I love
Yeah.
I
it.
saw Barry Bonds.
I love it.
You know what? Let's give these to our producer, Danny G. He goes to the baseball card shop with
All right.
all the time. Here you go.
As a gesture,
There you go. That's
producer
all.
of Covino and Rich on Fox Sports Radio
Barry Bonds
gets Bo Jackson,
also worth $45.
George Brett, and Barry Bonds. You're going to give them all three of
Yeah,
these?
even if he can get some cards for his kids or something by selling those,
All
who
right.
knows?
Wow.
there you
All
go.
right. Hey, throwing it back on a Thursday. That is fun to do.
Can I tell you?
Takes you back to when you were putting them in your plastics, collecting them.
Let me just describe to everyone what we just felt. A feeling that I haven't felt since the 90s, where you open the pack of cards, you're like, ooh, who am I going to get? It really is a
Yeah.
good feeling. So
It's
if you
exciting.
But if you got little kids, I highly recommend getting some new Topps cards. I know in 2025. They got all different types of awesome cards now with signatures and uniform pieces and everything. But there you go.
Panamanian legend, Roberto Kelly, bro. There he is. So Yankees outfielder. I always liked him, man. So it takes you back again when you were rocking your Doc Martens, your little beaded necklaces.
Your Zumba pants, right? Those.
You had your mushroom haircut. your Zumba pants. Again, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Covino and Rich, Overpromised. And as we open up these baseball cards and we think about unpacking as kids and the gum and the cards and the collections, gets us excited for baseball. And unless, of course, you're a Dodgers or Cubs fan, Dodgers 2-0. The rest of the season starts next week.
Can the Cubs get a mulligan? Like, can we start over?
I know, it sucks.
Poor Cubbies.
Yeah, but a week from today, baseball officially, in my mind, begins. Now, as a Yankees fan, I'm like, man, injury is really going to hurt them in the beginning unless they make some moves. By the way, Alex Verdugo went to the Braves today. I don't know if
You were
saw
just
that.
saying yesterday how he has no home. But it gets you thinking, not only are we excited about baseball, but every year it's an opportunity that the baseball stadium experience is different than when we were kids. There's in-game entertainment. The games go quicker. The scoreboards and the scoreboards and the big screens are interactive. They got more music. They got entertainment, and they've stepped up the food game. So are there any quick food items you want to give a little shout to before we get out of here?
Dude, I got one.
Any food items that make their debut? Because I got one too.
There's all different ones, but as a Yankees fan, when I make an East Coast trip, I gotta go to a few games this year. They have the Bronx Tail vodka lemonade that look good, and they have brand new street tacos in Section 11. But the one that stood out to me, Rich, I think you'll like this one too. In Section 112, they're calling it the Bird Dog. It's an M's foot-long hot dog.
Wait, hold on. Go back to that. What was that? You skipped over the pastrami sandwich?
I knew you would like that one. Yeah, that's the new pastrami at
New
Yankee
York
Stadium.
City pastrami sandwich. You're not going with that.
I'm not going with that. I knew you would like that one, though. It looks good, too. It does look good.
Yeah.
So that's new at Yankee Stadium. They just released a whole slew of them. There's the street tacos I was talking about. Yeah. But they have what they're calling the Bird Dog. It's hot dogs with chicken tenders. There it is. It looks pretty good. I would rock that. Section 112, let's go.
That's a big dog.
I like that.
Speaking of big hot dogs, what's up, Slugger? Slugger.
Speaking of big weenies, that's Rich Davis, everybody.
There's a new hot dog. It's actually a sausage being debuted at Dodger Stadium out here in LA. It's called the Slugger. It's a 16-inch sausage with jalapenos and cheddar.
That sounds good.
That sounds like delicious, but it sounds like you're going to shit your pants too. But doesn't it sound good though, right? A 16-inch jalapeno cheddar sausage.
If you're not shitting your pants at the ballpark, then you ain't living.
Let's look at that.
That does look good.
It's like a Mexican vibe, jalapeno
this has been
cheddar.
going on for a minute, but it's like next level every year when they release all the new food items.
Well,
It's gone next level.
Gone are the days of, hey, the ballpark has soda, beer, hot dogs, and hamburgers.
Buy me some peanuts and crack. It's like, buy me a bird dog and what's that called?
And sushi rolls.
Seriously, you gotta switch
everything.
it up.
Spot, one last thing before we say later. Just Google image. I've seen this at a lot of parks now. They're doing cotton candy with mascot masks on them. And also another thing, as far as desserts for kids, Giants are doing this, and I wonder if it's going to be a misstep because it looks like it's a bat. It's a plastic baseball bat filled up with popcorn.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
I just wonder,
I've seen that.
And I just wonder if they're all going to empty out, and then people in the stands are just going to start beating the hell out of each other.
I saw that. Who started that?
The Giants are doing that in the Bay Area.
I saw that on social media.
So they're doing the popcorn bat in San Francisco.
Which, is going to turn into a weapon when it's emptied for sure.
Pittsburgh's doing it too. So the popcorn bat's a thing.
That's the new rage.
And they're doing like the Philly Fanatic, Pittsburgh. I know a lot of them are doing cotton candy, but a mask comes around it. So if it's like green cotton candy, it'll have the Fanatic's mask the kids can put on. So
well, stuff your face, enjoy some baseball. The madness is here. March Madness, baby.
Dipsy-doo.
But again, a week away from baseball. So pumped about that. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Again, search Covino and Rich wherever you stream your podcast. We're on Fox Sports Radio.
Yeah, buddy.
And thanks for joining us here on episode 84 of Overpromised.
Enjoy. Have a great night. Enjoy your madness in baseball next week. Arrivederci, baby.
See you in the Overpromised land.
Goodbye.